everyone, this is Lori from the Crafting Auntie. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. Welcome back if you've been with me for a while. So this is a design team project for Carolyn Musings. She has her shop on Etsy. She also has a Ko-fi, which is Carolyn Myers Ko-fi shop. She also has a Facebook group, which is One-Way Journals, that if you'd like to join and participate in challenges and other things that go on there, that would be great. She has beautiful, beautiful digital. So this is Snow-Kissed Memories, and it is absolutely gorgeous. So this is what we're going to be putting together. Now, most of the video will be about how to do the binding and also the front cover. And as you will hear later in the video, you will understand why. So let's get started here on creating this beautiful, beautiful journal by Carolyn Musings, Snow-Kissed Memories. Okay, I've done quite a bit. I have another video on the rounded spine, so I will link that below. But I have used a couple of the backing papers for the front, and then I've made the rounded spine. This time I chose not to stamp on here, but I may add some small little fussy cuts on here. And I probably will add some leather, but I'm actually not sure about that because of the cover. So what I thought I'd do is, I recently did a video, and that was for polka art, where I did a hidden spine with elastic. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing here. So I have my 3 signatures here of the Snow-Kissed Memories. They're just gorgeous. I absolutely love them. So I'm going to go ahead and get these put in into the hidden spine and get that into the journal. So then that way I can do the inside papers, but I'm going to go ahead and do the outside with you. So I'll show you what I'm going to do on that shortly. Okay, so as usual with these, you want to make sure you have some room top and bottom so you're not cutting into your signatures while you are putting in the elastic. So I've made some marks here with some pencil and a ruler. So all I'm going to do is take my crocodile. I'm using the large setting, and I have these, which are perfect color to go with us, I thought. So I'm going to use these. Now for the inside spine, we want to make sure that we put the pretty side of the eyelet on the outside, because when this is in, you're going to see this. So we're going to do the opposite than we would have done on here. Either way, we want the nice side showing. So I'm going to just punch my holes. And then I'm going to put these going this way, and we'll get these secured in. So on the previous video, which I'll link below where I did this initially, I put it to where I tied it in the center. I think this time I'm going to tie it in the back. So here is my white elastic, and I'm just going to kind of measure maybe 2.5 times. I usually have way more than I need, but I'd rather have more than not enough. Okay, so this time I'm going to come up and then take my first signature. Find the center here. I'm going to come through and down the opposite hole. And then that way we can tie it to the back. So get that kind of situated here. Turn it over. And then make a double knot. So I want to make sure it's secure as well. So that feels about right. I double knot this. And then we'll trim it off. And then when we glue that in, then that will be secure and you won't be seeing any of the ties. So in the center, it will look like that. And then the ties will be in the back. Okay, so let's do the other two. So now we can glue this in, and this time instead of cutting an angle, I'm leaving them straight across. I'm going to give that a try. And so what I want to do is glue down the flaps only. So we want to make sure that it's snug in the right spot into our journal. And what happens is once it's snug in place, then it molds that rounded spine for you. So you want to make sure that you get it snug down in place. I think that's probably the most important part. And then what we're going to do is glue the flaps only. And when we glue them down, then we will make sure that this is all adjusted correctly. Okay, so I'm going to use my Fabri-Tac, Fabri-Fix, whatever you have. A strong glue is what I recommend. Let me just cut off this little thread. And then we just want to add glue to the flap. So actually, I'm going to add the glue to this bottom part and make sure I get it right to the edge of where that spine crease is. Add our glue. And then it's real important to get this put in place and in the right spot. So you want to make sure that you're getting it down into that spine area that you have already created. So it should look like this, top and bottom. And it's really important to let this dry. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to let this dry. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the other side. And then when I come back to you, we're going to do the front. And I have a fun little project for the front. Okay, let me show you what I've done so far. So after I let this dry, I went ahead and I put some leather on. And I made this closure, which goes onto a post. And I didn't have it in the same color as these, so it's going to be in a little brass color, where these are more of a like a tarnished silver color, but I think it's going to be okay. So I added a couple of brads back here, and then this post, so this will come over, and I can adjust this now once I get things put inside. So and I haven't done the inside here yet, so I will add that on afterwards, but what I wanted to do with you on camera is the cover. So the cover, I want to make a little shaker. So Carolyn has these amazing globes in here. And I have the shaker dome, and then I have a clear piece of acetate that I want to put on here and then secure all of this together before I put it on the front of the globe. So what I'm trying to say is I want to put the little pieces inside, add a piece of acetate on top, and then glue this on top of this. So I think that's what I'll do first. Now I wiped the inside with some alcohol, so I'm hoping, these are just sequins, and sometimes they have a tendency to kind of stick and fly. But I'm not going to put a whole bunch in. I just want enough to just kind of give it a little shaker. I think that's probably enough. And I have these in blue, so it worked out perfect. So then all you do is peel this ring off. So I'm going to peel the ring off, and I'm going to add some glue, and I'm going to add this piece of acetate. And then that way it'll secure these little sequins inside before I go to glue this down on the cover, so I don't have stuff going everywhere. You know what I mean? Okay, so I just cut a piece of acetate, and I just traced it actually with my scissors and just ran around the outside of this little dome. I just want to make sure I get a good seal on this. It looks like they're going to move okay. Okay, so I'm just going to set this aside and let this dry, and we can work on the rest of the cover. So I came up with some ideas. So I have a piece of one of the backing papers, and I have this gorgeous card and a piece of glitter, white glitter paper, that I thought this would be great on here. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that down. I think my glue is telling me you need to reopen me a little bit, so we'll do that. And then glue this onto the piece of white glitter. I also cut a ring to go around the outside of our snow globe. We'll see if we're going to use it, but I also want to use some snow, which I have this glitter snow that I want to use. Okay, so let's glue this onto this. Get it straight. And then I have this piece. So I want to put this onto here. Make sure that this is going to glue onto the glitter first. If I have to, then I will use Fabri-Tac or Fabri-Fix. But I think I'm okay. All right, so I'm going to glue this onto here. And I had this glitter paper. It was given to me by a neighbor who was doing some yard sailing from his garage, and he had all of this glitter paper and shiny paper left over. Then he knew nobody that did scrapbooking, and so I said, oh, well, I do. Or actually paper crafting, basically, because I'm not a scrapbooker, but I like to make journals and stuff. We use paper. Okay, so here's my thought. This will go here, and this part is going to get covered up. So I have these little tiny corners, and I thought they might look nice on here. Okay, I got my pliers. So I'm going to add a little bit of glue inside here. Okay, so that I'm thinking will go there. And then I have this piece of ruler. I've used these before. It's been a long time, but I like putting them on here. And then here's my thought is this will pop up right there, and this little guy will pop up kind of right there. And then I made these ruffles out of some fabric, and I thought it was perfect. So I might even tuck that in under there somewhere. So let's see. I think the first thing I want to do is kind of figure out where this is going to go and make sure it's straight, because it does not look straight to me. And then figure out my ruler. So I think we'll glue this down. So let's do that. Hopefully I'm doing this the right way I want it to be. Okay, so now let's go ahead and put this down. Let me just kind of give it a little bit of an ink. This is just wood ruler that I bought off of Amazon, and then I had my husband cut them into strips. And then I had done a project last year where I had used a piece of this. So I think I want to put that right there. I think I'm going to go ahead and use my Fabri-Tac for this. And let's put this guy down. And I just broke it. I like to have that little jagged edge. So we're going to put that there. And then I do have this ruffle. So let's see. I was thinking about ruffle underneath. So let me just cut a piece. I grab my fabric scissors. And then I'm going to add some glue to the edge of this where the stitching is so it doesn't come off. This one should be okay. So let's see. Kind of see where I need to put glue. Okay. So I don't know if you've ever made ruffles before, but they're a lot of fun to make. I just cut my pieces 2 inches in width this way, and then fold it in half, and then all I do is on my sewing machine I just keep folding it up and folding it up. So I don't do like a basting stitch like I used to do ruffles. I just do them this way, and that way they lay flat like that. Okay, so we've got that. I think that looks cute. Okay, let's go ahead and put our snow globe together. So for this, I think I will go ahead and use the Fabri-Tac, and I'm just going to put a very thin bead around the edge. Just carefully. And then we'll put this on top of our snow globe. About like so. And then I have this ring, and I was thinking of putting it on here and then adding some snow. So that way this will kind of secure this in place and everything shakes freely. So a little hint, if you're doing any of these with those little rounded shaker things, just rub it with some alcohol on the inside, and then if there's any staticky electricity kind of thing, then you won't have it. Now I'm thinking I want to put this on top. Let me just cut this, and that'll kind of hide the stitching that I have on top, although the stitching looks kind of cute, but it's kind of like a rough edge at the top. So let's add something to cover that up. So do that. Oops. So lay that piece on like that. As usual, you know, I'm winging stuff. I kind of have a concept, but I really don't know how it's going to go until I start really working on it. So I'm liking that so far. I'm going to make sure we're still looking straight. If we need to move anything up, I think we're still good. Okay, so this one I want to pop up. So because we have this little bit of the ruler underneath, I have these square pop-ups. So I'm going to add some to the back of this all over, except for where it's going to be lying onto the ruler, which I think is going to be about there. So we're going to put him up here. And I think that will lay straight. And then this guy, I want him popped up as well. So let's do some down the middle here, but not at the bottom base of the snowman. Let's see how that works. Yeah, I think that works. And then let's just lay this on here and see what we think. Okay, I like that. All right, but before I actually glue these two down, I want to add some snow to this. So I have this glitter snow. Okay, so with the spatula, just open this up, and it's really soft. So I just kind of take this, and we know kind of where it's going to show through. So let's try that, and let's see how we are. Yeah, that'll be good. And then just a tad more over on this side. Now, after I get the snow globe on and secure, then I want to add some snow down under here as well. So let's let this dry a little bit, and then I'll come back and we'll finish putting this together. Okay, I just kind of hit it with the heat gun because it's supposed to take a lot longer to dry. So I'm going to be very careful putting the rest of this together. So I think what I want to do first is glue this onto the top of this. So I'll just use my art glitter glue. And I'm just going to add it just around the ring here. All the way around. And then we'll press this on. And hold it down for a little bit and let that dry. Should catch pretty quickly here, being the art glitter glue, but it is on plastic, so I want to make sure that this is good and dry. It's not going to come off. Okay. I think that's pretty good. Just want to make sure. So we have our little shaker now. Isn't that cute? Sorry for the light. I got the ring light above me and it's giving me a glare. Okay, so now let's pull off the backing papers to the pop-up and figure out where this is going to go. And then I'm going to add some glue with the Fabri-Tac to the bottom base of the snow globe so that it will secure itself down to the fabric. So I'm just going to add some into the center, so just right there. And then let's put this on and make sure it's straight. How fun is this? Oh, Carolyn, I just love these little snow globes that you did. Definitely had to do a shaker. Okay, so let's go ahead and put this guy on as well. Take off the backings. And now I'm going to add some glue to the base of him as well. And then him I want up just a little higher. Right about there. Oh, he's so cute. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's make sure that this, yeah, this is going to be fine. Let me just give this a little look. Make sure I got this down good. Both sides. like that. So let's see. Let me just take another look at this. Oh, it came out so cute. So cute. Okay. I think I'm happy. Oops. So let's add some more snow. So that was one of the things I wanted to do, was add some more snow to this so that this can completely dry then. And let's put some around here. Like that. And a little bit down here. And let's give our snowman a little bit on his hat, maybe on his sleeves, and down here at the bottom, like that. Stuff is so fun. It's got a little glitter to it too. Seems we're snowing. Let's add a little bit up here. And maybe right in here. Like so. You can give it like peaks. Just kind of use your spatula flat. Make it look a little bit more realistic, like it just maybe snowed. Okay. So I think we got the snow on. That's good. So put our closure on like this. Now, I was going to do a lot of decorating on camera, but I have decided that on the One Way Journal group for the December challenge that this will be the giveaway. So I don't want to give away too much more than what I already have. So I'm going to stop there, and then I'm going to do the rest of the decorating, and whoever is the winner on the challenge that we're doing in One Way Journals for December will get this, and it will be a surprise. So that's it for today, and this is the Snow-Kissed Memories from Carolyn Musings. And I'll have all the links below so you can check that out. And go check out One Way Journals, and if you decide to join the challenge and become in the running for this, then that would be fun too. Okay, so that's it for today. You guys all have a great day. God bless you all, and I'll see you at the next video. Bye.